Where we at? We could jump to Loki
Well,
because
you've only watched episode one.
I watched episode. Well, okay, so I watched the first like three-fourths of the first episode, and then
You
today
didn't
I
even
said, "Fuck
finish
it."
it?
No, because I fell asleep,
Oh,
and then not because it was bad, just because I fell asleep, and I think I just started the feature or whatever. Anyway, um, and then today I started watching the second episode, which I also haven't finished, and I think today episode three came out. So
today or last night? Because I just watched episode three right before we started recording this.
I think it comes out at like 3 a.m. Eastern time
All right.
every Wednesday. So I mean, we could just call this the review of episode three, while you while we
Well,
could
I
just
just
kind of
tell
give
you what
a
happened today.
yeah. I mean, well, all right. So basically, what I've gathered from conversations that I've had is, episode one is just kind of a recap of how Loki ended up in the position that he's in. Um, he's taken over by the what are the TDA,
TVA, Time Variance Authority.
Time Variance Authority, which is run by Owen Wilson's character.
No, he's
Not maybe not run by, but
he's like
he's one of
a
the.
he's a detective-esque character in it.
Mhm.
So Owen Wilson, he's not the grunts that basically like bring in Loki in the beginning, the first people you see. He's maybe like one rung above that, or maybe like they could even be just like equal positioning, just different jobs. But like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, it's not run by him. It's run by like the fucking Loki calls them space lizards. There's people who are like
Okay.
running the timeline basically.
The vibe that I got was that Owen Wilson is a part of that organization, but eventually he's gonna kind of help Loki outside of the organization in a way. Like that's like his sidekick, kind of in a way.
Yeah.
Like he Loki makes him go from a suit to being a regular guy, maybe realizing what's wrong with the organization that he works for.
That's possible. I mean, he wasn't in episode 3 at all. Like the
Mm,
way and make it makes sense the way episode 2 ends. They get separated. I mean, it's hard talking about it cuz I don't know
it's
what
fine.
you know about it. Not like
Go for it.
spoilers, but it's just like
No,
okay,
no, no.
so
The last thing I saw was episode two and the volcano. Loki's saying he's from the future, and Owen's
oh,
like,
okay.
"This is a bad idea. This is a
So you
bad
already know that
idea."
they're chasing another Loki, like another
Right.
timelines Loki.
Which that I don't know how I feel. I don't know where
Well,
it's gonna end up. I guess because I didn't see episode three, but I don't. I never really liked the whole
Well,
double.
it's not actually, spoiler alert, it's not actually Loki. Though they haven't really officially revealed this yet. It's not it's a different character, not Enchantress
Altogether.
from DC, but like they have a character called Enchantress in in Marvel Comics.
Okay.
And like maybe they retcon it into like an actual, like she has storylines with Loki.
Mhm.
In fact, I think Loki technically is the person who gave her powers.
Right.
Like it was just like a regular human, but like the
In the
character's
comics, you
name,
mean?
yeah. In this one, unrevealed. It could be they're just taking. It could be that they're just taking aspects of that character and throwing them into actual
Right.
female Loki, because that character also does exist. But female Loki is what people are
Oh,
calling
I
her right
see.
now. But she goes by Sylvie, which is just the human name of the character, the Enchantress character from the MCU.
So in the comics, there's a female Loki, and then there's Enchantress,
Yeah, they're two
and
different storylines basically, because
okay,
it's all
but
different universe bullshit. But like it
uh,
is, they are two different characters, but both exist. So it still could be a combination of the two. It could be like, oh, this is female Loki, and we just decided to call her Sylvie and give them powers similar
right.
to
Do,
Enchantress, because
mm,
we're kind of going our own direction. We liked aspects of both characters, but being that they
I
named
mean,
her Sylvie, and so far in the show the powers are only vaguely similar to Loki's,
Uh-huh.
is I think leaning more into that direction,
That
where it's like
she's
this is
that
probably
that it's both
no, that it's just the Enchantress
the
character,
one
because
character.
she's only
Yeah,
done one vaguely magical thing versus Loki can do like a ton of different various magical things.
I was gonna say like Marvel's weird about like weird character changes in
Yeah.
actors like they did with uh the brother from WandaVision shit like that. But I don't know if they would go as far as like combining two characters
Yeah,
and
well,
just being
that's
like,
why I
hey,
don't think
this
that they're
is
going to. I don't think they're going to do that. I think they're playing up the idea, like the fact that female Loki is more popular than this character. They're not probably not going to call her Enchantress
uh
because they probably don't want to confuse, get her
people with
risk confusing
DC.
with DC shit. So they might give her. They might never call her that, but it is probably going to be revealed. And at least my theory is that it's going to be revealed that she's not even Loki. It's actually probably just someone that Loki in a past time messed with, because like I said, her origin of having like any powers is Loki gave them to her.
Oh, so you think they're gonna
Normal human that Loki gave powers to, and I think maybe, you know, fucking forgot. They already showed a clip where in episode 1 where Loki was DB Cooper of all things.
uh-huh.
So it was like the idea that he's
Wait,
done so much shit and forgotten some of it.
who's DB Cooper? Just
DB
to
Cooper is a real person who
okay.
um it's probably an alias, and he's never been caught, and there's a great chance he's dead by now. But that thing where Loki was on the airplane, I think that was episode 1,
Oh, oh, oh,
where they're
oh,
going through
oh.
like his past
Copy,
and stuff. Like
copy.
that's like a real person that did actually all those things, where he said he had a bomb on an airplane, got a bunch of money, and then just jumped off once they gave him the money, jumped off the airplane, and none of the money nor him was ever found.
Do you
So
think they're gonna do more of that? Like he's the one who shot JFK type shit?
no, because I think they threw that in there just to show that like, oh yeah, like he was doing goofy shit on Earth before. Like I think it was just like we're going to show the fact that he has been there and has done just like odd, like weird. He is responsible for some different shit that we haven't talked about yet. So I don't think it's
Um,
going to be that important that like he is a part of big historical events and shit. It might be, but it seems the way
I
in
mean,
my mind they're leaning is like, oh, he is, because right now they're stuck. That's where episode 3 is. Him and Sylvie are stuck
where are they stuck?
on in an Armageddon planet. I can't. That's the name of the planet's the episode title as well. I can't remember what it is off the top of my head right now though. But it is.
Okay.
You look at episode 3. It's like, oh, that's the planet they're on.
So
And it's
he's
going through
there
its own
because
apocalypse.
I see. And he went there to go catch her.
They, yeah, vaguely. Like at the end of episode 2, like they find her and he gets separated from the TVA. Her plan goes into like action, and he vaguely prevents it, not like in a real sense, but like interrupts it. So like the shits that she's done is still ongoing, but he manages to like kind of sidetrack some of her shit, and he's trying to get like a alliance, I guess, with this person.
Okay.
So the episode is that, and they're stuck in on a planet that's about to die out, and the episode ends with them being stuck on that planet still.
As so do you feel like she's, because I spoke to somebody and they were like, well, they revealed her as the villain, but the way that you're describing it sounds like they're going to be like teaming up together,
I think it's going to be like,
team up, and then she's the villain.
I just don't know if the way that it's going is they want the way that they talk about it and how quickly they revealed her is like probably not. Like I bet she's not a hero. I don't think any point of this whole show is for like a true standout hero. Like Loki in general is at his best an anti-hero. Like he's often a villain, and most of the time like when he's doing good shit is just like because it's convenient for him, like just a outlier character in like morally ambiguous character. And I think it stays that way. I don't think they're trying to make Loki, because they already kind of vaguely gave him heroic moments in like the Avengers
in
Endgame
the
and shit
regular
like
movies.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they're really, he's going to stay mostly in that gray area.
The tweener.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be her as well. I think it's going to be like team up. There's going to be moments where they're teamed up and moments where they're antagonizing each other. And
Love interest?
hypothetically, it's possible. It's still, I think it's too early to know for certain. They're kind of in this episode showing that, but also they spend a lot of time reassuring you that Loki lies about everything. So it's hard to see where, it's not hard to see a thing where him or her steer it towards that direction just for an eventual betrayal.
Right.
Well, like,
I was
as just
say,
like manipulation.
Is it possible that Owen Wilson's character, like, you know, everybody likes him now? Is he going to be, are they going to pull a fast one like they did with WandaVision, where the best friend is actually the villain? It was her all along. Like, is Owen Wilson like the mastermind behind?
No, this past episode just had a reveal where the TVA people, like the people behind the desks and shit, Sylvie revealed that they're all quote variants. It's just like, but they don't remember anything from that period of their life before they were like taken in by the TVA and basically like brainwashed. So I think Owen Wilson's character ends up being essential for like the good cause, and like kind of breaks away from that, like you were saying earlier, but just in a slightly different way. And the villains are probably like the timekeepers,
the leaders.
Yeah,
I see.
The people people
that captured him in the beginning.
No, the people in charge of the whole structure.
Copy.
So like they talk about it briefly, and that's why I think that they're probably the ultimate villains of the series, because they got to episode 1 is like you're chasing evil, like a different version of you, and then episode 2 is like, hey, look at that, they're here. It's like, that's so fucking fast to reveal like the big bad. And like, I get it, it's like, yeah, you want to give them screen time, sure, but like,
yeah,
there was not a chase. Like, there's not like it was no outmaneuvering, no like climactic thing. It was just like, did it, figured it out, there they are. And so I'm just like, there's no way that is
yeah,
I mean, maybe they do a bigger twist and it's like all strangely enough part of their plan, but like the way they're leaning right now, they're slowly hinting more and more that like the TVA and like the creatures that run it, like the 3 timekeepers, that those are the
main
ultimate like villains.
Okay.
And I still think I think everything's going to be very morally ambiguous. Whereas I think they'll be villains in the sense that they are who Loki is going to ultimately be fighting against. But they're probably going to have some justification for the things that they do. Like, I don't think it's going to be like, oh, they're just like a big bad.
Even the
like,
villains.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be like a big bad like Thanos. I think it's going to be like, they still have their reasons, and it kind of, not necessarily to be sympathetic. I don't think they'll get enough screen time, but you won't come away from it being like, oh, they're evil. It's like, oh no, they thought they were doing the right thing. Like,
but I mean, you could say
like
the same thing about Thanos and Killmonger. I think.
Well,
I think
Killmonger,
Thanos,
I think is
like.
Well, Thanos is
obviously
a fucking idiot. He has the Infinity Stones. He can do anything he wants, and he decides, instead of like just like, doubling the
I'm
resources,
just going to destroy everything.
Well, he's like, there's not enough resources to support life. It's like, you know what you could have done with the Infinity Stones is just straight up double the amount of resources that the universe has. Like that, and they tell you time and time again that it's like, oh, you can do anything if you collect all of them and can like wield the fucking power. And so instead of thinking for a moment that maybe he just makes more shit for people to use, he's like, nah, gotta kill him. Gotta fucking kill him. Like, it's like, no, you really could just not be that, not do that. So I think he has his reasons, but it's a blatantly villainous act to wipe out half of the fucking universe.
I mean, but like you said, also Killmonger was the same. I feel like everyone got left Black Panther thinking Killmonger had a really good reason
Yeah,
for being an asshole.
but
It was because it was realistic and it was relatable and
yeah, and the thing, like, what they did really well with that is, even though he like loses the battle, Killmonger kind of wins the ideological war at the end of it, where Wakanda does open up and does like start trying to help, like, because his whole thing was like they abandoned what, if I remember correctly, like his mom to some shit,
right. Mm-hmm.
and then he got like kind of locked out. I think in Oakland. He was in the United States, wasn't he?
I was gonna say Chicago, but
It might have been some
just 'cause I
cityscape,
remember.
but it was like he ideologically he was proven correct, and it was just like the methodology that he was wrong in, and that's
And
like
then
an
he died.
interesting thing that they actually, the first time that they actually made a well written villain was Black Panther, basically, where it was just like, oh yeah, you know, I don't agree with creating paramilitary factions, but like you're correct on like the goals here. It's like, yeah.
Is he? It's, I was gonna say, is he the Hamas of the Marvel universe, or is that stupid? Was that dumb? I don't know enough to make these comments, but I would imagine.
Yeah, I don't think they're so connected, but
I guess
I think Hamas is more extreme, like by a landslide. But I don't want to get into this.
You can edit that out.
It is yeah, maybe we should.
I've gone too far.
No, you haven't gone too far, because like
I feel like there was something to what I said.
Yeah, there are things that you could point to, but I wouldn't. You know, shit. I am on the side of a free Palestine, but not necessarily a supporter of Hamas. So, because there are, it's like the country versus the extremist faction.
That's what I mean. So you like, you agree with what Killmonger believes, but the way that he's going about it, you're like, nah, bro, what are you doing? Kinda. No.
Kind of. I'm not. Yeah.
I honestly,
think
I don't know.
It's a wild oversimplification, but
it is. I'm sorry. I don't know enough, so I'm done. I'm done talking about this.
But, let's dive into hot button politics.
I don't know what I'm talking about, but free Palestine and fuck Israel.
Oh my fucking god! You remember when we got negative comments? We're getting nothing but those now.
For the Loki,
for the Loki review,
everyone in the comments
is gonna be like,
nobody's talking about Loki. It's all
we've opened it up to just the Israeli-Palestinian debate, which, my god, is not what we're set up to really handle.
Hold for Everything podcast.